Hello everybody, I am Tom and you are watching me play Vampyr. In today's episode, we have to go enter Aloysius Dawson's place, but beforehand, we can also... Oop, that was a hitch. Just halved my frame rate for a second there, that was weird. Before we do that, I'm interested in... Whoa, frame rate. Frame rate, goddamn. I'm interested in walking around and actually talking to some of the inhabitants of West End. I already spoke to a few back in the other place, but I want to walk around here and actually talk to people around here to see if they have anything interesting to say. Oh, you're actually there. Talking to people about Aloysius Dawson.
How are you tonight?
Dr. Reid, I didn't know you had returned from the war. I had a new doctor when you left, but he's not as kind as you.
Always glad to see a former patient in good condition. It's been a long time.
Too long indeed. And as a token of my appreciation, I'll grant you the best price if you fancy buying anything from my humble shop.
Nice.
May I look at your goods, Miss Price?
It's always a pleasure to have you here, Dr. Reid. Take all the time you need.
I don't know if I actually need anything per se. So I'm not actually gonna spend any money, but...
Good evening,
Good to know she's here.
You know you can call me Carolyn, my dear doctor.
Interesting. Personal questions. About your daughter's health.
Does your daughter still worry you, Miss Price? I remember you were often concerned about her health when she was younger.
Have you not seen Carol since you returned? She's almost a young woman now, but she'll always remain my sweet little baby.
So you're less afraid?
Some things never change. Carol is still too clumsy for her own good. Sometimes her innocence puts her in real danger.
Do you need my medical attention, Miss Price?
Oh no, I'm fine, Dr. Reid. Perfectly fine. But thank you so much for taking care of me.
Hit the wrong button there.
Does your daughter...
Have you not...
So you're...
Something...
Innocence puts her in danger.
Why would her innocence put her in danger?
She
Goes
does
into
not realize
situations,
how cruel
yeah.
life can be. Maybe I was a bad mother to protect her too much. My poor dear Carol.
That's what I was gonna say. Being too innocent is definitely a detriment. Or definitely can be a detriment. It is good to be cautious.
You have every reason to be cautious, Miss Price. Especially in these difficult times.
Indeed.
Maybe you could talk with her, Dr. Reid. It would be nice to have a man here more often. We would both feel safer.
Your life in London. Tell me about your occupation.
What can you tell me about yourself, Miss Price?
I'm still managing my shop. The only difference is, since the quarantine, we're open at night. You, on the contrary, seem to have changed a lot.
Really? Have I changed that much? It must have been the war and the night shifts since my return.
Don't get me wrong, Dr. Reid, you're still handsome. Just maybe a little bit wiser, more serious. It suits you well.
Interesting. It's interesting talking to her because she knew Reid before he was turned into a vampire, which we as a player don't, really. So it seems he was slightly more carefree, which makes a lot of sense. He did get turned into a vampire, have to kill his own sister. A lot of bad shit happened to him.
Tell me more about yourself. No new fiancé? I remember you were hoping to get remarried. I'm sure you must have a few suitors.
Who would marry an old bat like myself with a grown daughter and a little business? As you know, I only fancy handsome men like yourself.
Yeah, I figured that.
Have you noticed anything in particular in this part of town recently?
Other than you coming back to cheer me up? Nothing at all, Dr. Reid.
She's flirting pretty damn hard. Alright. Anything about Aloysius Dawson?
Do you know Aloysius Dawson?
Everybody knows him. He's only been to my shop once, though, looking for rare books and other intriguing antiques.
Did he buy something from you?
No, he left quickly. He almost laughed at my goods. Mr. Dawson may be a rich man, but you can't buy good manners.
But isn't Aloysius Dawson known for his philanthropy?
That was before his brother Robert died in an aeroplane crash. Since then, the remaining twin has turned into a heartless tycoon.
Interesting. His twin brother died in a plane crash. Interesting. I wonder whether... See, there could be two things here. One, either it could have been his twin brother who was actually the philanthropist, or it's possible that he was quite a philanthropist and kind and quite nice before his brother died. Then his brother died and he got jaded towards the world, I suppose. It's definitely a possibility. I don't know where Louise Teasdale actually is. I rescued her, but I don't know where she goes after I rescued her. In any case, good information,
Goodbye
thank you.
for now, Miss Price.
Useful information to get. You care if I take your stuff?
I hope you can stay a little longer this time.
Damn. She locks the cash register. Ah, here, this guy. He was here before.
What has happened to the London that I knew?
Charles.
Good evening, sir. May I ask you what you're doing here at this late hour?
I'm conducting an investigation about the epidemic in this part of town.
And who are you, sir?
I'm Dr. Johnathan Reid from the Pembroke Hospital. May I ask who you are and why all the questions?
I'm Detective Inspector Charles Albright from Scotland Yard.
Makes sense.
And I don't find your answers convincing. What is a Pembroke doctor doing in the West End at this time of night?
I mean, I live here. Huh.
I work for the Ascalon Club. Here is my permit to go freely about the city.
The Ascalon Club? You should have said so, sir. I must warn you, these streets are dangerous, and you'd better be careful.
Well, I mean, that was useful. Charles Jerome Albright, from Scotland Yard. He looks the part with the trench coat and the hat. About your investigation.
What are you investigating, exactly?
I have a missing woman, possibly abducted a few nights ago.
Ah.
Louise Teasdale.
Oh, I already found her. Perfect.
It seems you already found my other missing person, Mr. Tadao Kimura.
Tell me about Louise Teasdale.
She's a waitress. Her father reported her missing. We don't have enough men to search for her, sadly.
Do you have any idea where she could be?
No. But I feel she's been abducted. She went to a pub a few nights ago and vanished. I thought about the sewers, but I'm not equipped for such an investigation.
What are you investigating? Tell me. Do you have...
No.
I already found her. Ugh. I guess because I haven't rested, but like he should still be at it. It's annoying that flag doesn't work. You're fine.
What are you really doing here?
I told you. I'm a detective inspector from Scotland Yard, investigating suspicious cases in the area.
Do you work alone?
Yes. The situation is difficult for the police. Many of us are sick, and since the summer strike, most men apply a work to rule on their patrols.
Okay. But you're from Scotland Yard, you're not just a police officer. Huh. Weird.
What about the situation in the East End? Why are there no police there to protect the civilians?
I know, it's a shame, but we just don't have enough men to cover the entire city.
Why are you investigating at night?
Criminals rarely act in daylight, you know. But since you are also a night worker, have you noticed anything strange which requires police attention?
Sure.
I'd like to report a name, Inspector. Jeffrey McCullum. I'm afraid he's some sort of vigilante, trying to recruit an army of angry citizens.
Then I'll write the name down and transmit this intelligence to the appropriate office. Thank you, sir.
Useful. He's the head of the pre-one. So I just tattled on him, which is kind of funny.
What can you tell me about this district?
I'm the one asking questions, especially when there's a killer on the loose.
What killer?
I'm not going to discuss that with the civilians, sir.
Haven't I told you about the investigation I'm conducting? Perhaps I could help you.
All right, without giving you too much information, I'll tell you this. I'm convinced there is a homicidal maniac on the loose, using the epidemic to disguise his kills.
Interesting.
And what about the epidemic?
We both know the situation is critical, don't we, Doctor? Colleagues of mine die almost every day.
That makes sense as well. The reason that they have a police shortage in a epidemic is because a lot of the police will be dying of the epidemic. That makes sense, but it's not something I really thought about.
Tell me all you know about that homicidal maniac you're looking for.
I'm not even sure there is only one. The wounds are always the same, but the modus operandi varies. Sometimes violent and brutal, sometimes precise and swift.
How could different killers inflict the same wounds?
That's my main problem. If my theory is correct, maybe we're facing a group of individuals sharing the same violent tendencies. Perhaps a sadist cult.
That explains why there's someone from Scotland Yard here. That's a bit over the average Bobby would be doing. Huh. Interesting. I think he's just talking about... He's either talking about the vampires, or he's talking about the vampire hunters.
Do you know anything in particular about a man called ALOYSIUS DAWSON?
Who doesn't know the man? I think he intervened personally to put an end to the police strike of last August.
What else can you tell me about him?
Aloysius Dawson is exactly the kind of powerful and influential man who could commit murder and get away with it. With just one phone call.
Okay. He could.
Goodbye, Detective Inspector Albright.
Goodbye, Dr. Johnathan Reid. I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
So he said you could kill somebody and get away with it. Is that to imply someone who would do that, though? That's not necessarily the same thing. Hello.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Johnathan Reid. Do you need my help?
Yes, please. Would you be kind enough to tell me what the time is?
That's all you need to know.
Well, is it not important to know? As important as where you are? Or who you are?
I suppose you're right. And who are you then, sir?
I am Agamemnon Baker. Like my brother, I think we need to leave this city immediately. And my brother and I rarely agree on anything.
Interesting. Twins, obviously. Which is useful to put into a game, because then you can use the same character model twice.
May I ask what you're doing outside at this hour of night?
I don't know. You should ask my brother instead. It was his idea in the first place.
You must have your own ideas.
From what I have managed to understand, I guess we're supposed to wait here. Waiting for someone to come.
Interesting. Agamemnon and Pericles Baker are waiting for something. Or someone before leaving the city. Agamemnon and Pericles are insane names, but I'll take it. Yeah. Tell me about the neighborhood.
What can you tell me about this part of town?
It's the only place I've considered myself happy. Or at least that's what I believe. Unfortunately, it's time to leave.
Why is that?
Because I'm not feeling happy here anymore. Are you?
Fair enough.
No, I'm not.
Good for you. It's a good thing to have a clear idea of where you stand concerning crucial questions. Don't you think?
May I ask why you've not gone already, if you're so exasperated by this long wait?
I believe fear is holding us back. My brother would have said it's laziness, but it's just because he's prouder than I am.
Interesting.
What can you tell me about your brother?
He's older than me, I think. But the important thing is that I really hope I'll die before him. Grief would just kill me, you know?
Is that all?
Pericles is very attached to this city, and without my insistence, he would never leave this place. We don't often agree on anything, you see.
Interesting. You said you did agree on that before. Now you're saying it's your insistence. What are you waiting for exactly?
Who are you waiting for exactly?
The more I think about it, the more I believe it's not exactly a person we are waiting for.
But what else could it be then?
I don't know. A feeling? An event? An impulse? How can I tell? Something that would allow us to leave this trap.
Weird.
I'm afraid I'm not following you.
Neither am I.
What kind of trap are you talking about?
Have you ever felt like life trapped you in a role that does not fit you? That you're not in your place? That sort of trap.
Interesting. Talking about like ideas of destiny, essentially.
Trap? And you think leaving London will free you?
At least it will give us the chance to be free. That's more than our present situation. Hope, Doctor. Hope is what truly drives mankind.
Probably true. He's a weirdo, but whatever.
What can you tell me about Aloysius Dawson?
You should ask that question to my brother instead. Personally, I've not seen Aloysius for many years.
Interesting.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Baker.
Let's talk to the other Mr. Baker.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid. Can I be of assistance?
Dr. Reid? Dr. Reid?
Is there anything wrong?
No, it's just... your name sounds familiar. And your face. Have we met before?
I think I would remember. So I suppose the answer is no.
That's odd. I'm certain I've already heard of you. My name is Pericles Baker. Does that mean anything to you?
I'm afraid not, sir. But it's a pleasure to meet you anyway.
The pleasure is mine, I guess. I only wish I could remember when it was that we met.
Are they somehow linked? I don't know, this is very strange.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Baker. What are you doing out here in the middle of the night?
We are waiting. Waiting for someone.
And why are you waiting for this person?
Because we need to leave this city. As soon as possible.
Why do you want to leave the city?
I'm not really sure.
They're weird. They're very weird. Tell me about the neighborhood.
Can you tell me anything about this district?
As you like asking questions so much, would you allow me to ask you one first?
Please, be my guest.
Do you like this city?
I don't know. I was born and raised in London, but I feel like a stranger here recently.
You didn't answer my question, sir. But I don't blame you. Perhaps it's better that way.
And what do you do, sir? For a living, that is.
I stopped working when I decided to leave. When I realized what I wanted. Wanted something this city can't provide.
But what were you doing before you took this decision?
Does it really matter anymore? Considering the past seems so pointless to me. I have lived in this city all my life. And now I think it's over.
Huh.
Tell me more about why you want to leave London, then.
I just don't belong here anymore. I had to convince my brother to leave London because I know we need to find another life out of the city.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. They have opposite explanations for their current situation. One believes... like, they each believe that they convinced the other one to leave.
Pericles, tell me why your brother disagrees with your presence here.
Agamemnon is naive sometimes. Although don't consider him a fool, sir. He is often more lucid than me.
At least you both have the same difficulty explaining what you're doing, and for what reason.
But is that not a common problem for all mortals?
Weird choice of words.
What can you tell me about your brother?
If you are searching for a pleasant chat, you should speak with him instead of wasting your time with me. He's always been the more gentle of us.
That's it? That's all you can tell me about him?
For the time being. True kindness is the most valuable quality, my good sir.
Interesting.
Who are you waiting
These two are intriguing me, by the
I'm
way.
sure he has a name.
I really can't answer that question, since I don't know that person.
And why is that?
This person is mostly my brother's acquaintance. I don't even know his real name. Only that this man could help us leave this city once and for all.
But why would you need this person's help to leave London anyway?
Well, I thought we should have left this cursed place already, but my brother convinced me to stay a while longer, and here we are.
Literally opposite of what the other brother said. Whatever.
What can you tell me about Aloysius Dawson?
These two are weird.
I've heard this is a man who has searched for his place in the world for a long time. I hope he found it.
Interesting.
Goodbye, Mr. Baker.
T-pose for superiority.
Hello again, Dr. Reid.
Huh.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Baker.
These two are very weird.
Lou is not the only hidden killer around here.
There's Scotland Yard detective. This was the shop. Interesting. Let's have a look at this map. I kind of want to come up this way because I want to see if I can unlock the way through Whitechapel, because that would be useful. Whoa. Hey, something going on crazy with my frame rate here. There is some bad guys up here.
Let's go home. Step away! He's mine! The power of the Lord! Stop! Get ready,
I want to beat that guy. Not too hard in the grand scheme of things, I suppose. There's a hideout here, that's useful, I suppose. Where am I exactly? Again, sorry about the flashing lights. They have these, like, annoying flashing lights at the front of all these hideouts. I don't know whether or not it's supposed to be flashing, but it certainly does. So there is a bed here. That's what I thought. Thick, brisk blood sample. Cool. So I only have one more thing to unlock. Antidote. Fair enough. I assume that's story related. Alright, so I'm gonna go back the way I was going. Which was this way. More things to loot. Yeah, I assume this is Aloysius Dawson's place. Maybe? This doesn't actually look like Aloysius Dawson's place. Heard someone laughing, which is creepy. Laughing people are always creepy. I mean, this could be his mansion, but... I'm not gonna go in there yet. Again, I hear someone laughing, which is creepy as fuck. Interesting that I can't open that gate. It doesn't even give me, like, the indication that gate is locked. I just straight up can't open it. This should be a shortcut to Whitechapel? Yeah. Okay, so I know where that is. While I'm here, actually, let me check. So he's sick at the docks. There's no one sick in Whitechapel. And she's sick, but she's not here yet. I need to sleep before she'll show up again. Alright. Alright, so I seem to have murdered everybody around here. There's shit here, which is interesting. Like, I guess this is probably his mansion. I'm thinking that's his mansion. So I actually want to come back this way and do some more exploring. This is going to be a relatively long episode. In so much as I'm going to just keep going until at least I talk to Aloysius Dawson. So, could take a little longer than may be expected. Weird. That's the other side of my hideout.
It's locked.
I guess, maybe, nah, this must be Aloysius's mansion, right? So what's that other place? That's my question. This massive place must be his mansion, right? Yeah, and that's like a way into like the basement of his mansion. Good to know. I want to go into that other house. I also kind of want to go into his mansion. I'm of two minds, I'll put it that way. I'm going to go into that other house first, I think. Weird that it allows you to run into all these gardens when there doesn't seem to be anything in there. It's odd. Alright, let's go into this house over here first, because I don't think this is his mansion. If it is, whatever. I'm not that worried if I go into it immediately. Because this is a mansion as well, like... Could be either. So this is Dawson's mansion. So we're leaving. Apologies for my indecision. But that's the Dawson mansion. So now I want to go check... I want to do optional areas first, essentially, because I want to find out as much as I can about Aloysius Dawson before I go and potentially turn him into an immortal dictator. Which, you know, I don't think is unreasonable. So what's this down here, then? It's up for a weird-ass crypt. With weird-ass sounds. What does that sound?
What are the guards trying to tell us?
Hello? The crime of lost knowledge. Vampires are dangerous, deadly, vicious sometimes. This is a fact that I won't deny it. And I won't deny it. And that's precisely why we must understand what they are, sometimes who they are, in order to achieve a better mutual understanding. Do you remember the interview with the Titus Flavius Josephus, conducted by one of us in 1548 when he finally encountered the creature in Spain? Do you remember how each of the very carefully chosen words expressed by this vampire warmed our heart each time we read them? For they were all extraordinary windows to a past of which we only have glimpses. Well, Titus Flavius Josephus is no more, since the Vatican's hunters destroyed him a few weeks ago. And with him vanishes unearthed treasures of knowledge about the pillars of our society. This is a crime probably as heartbreaking as the killing of an innocent life by a vampire. This is exactly why the path of the Guard of Quirin is as criminal as it is barren. For each time they successfully conduct one of their methodical hunts of the old vampires of England, instead of carefully and respectfully approaching them, they destroy a part of our common roots with the immortals. They wipe an opportunity. The concept of great hunt is a crime and is for blindly kills words and thoughts, from drinking the fountain of knowledge to the Usher Tree. Excuse me. So clearly, one of the reasons that the Primate of St. Paul is so interested in vampires is their ability to look into history by talking to people who are alive at the time, which is something that you've never been able to do. Who are you?
Johnathan Reid.
It's Usher
Last
Tree.
we meet.
Interesting.
Cards warned me you would visit tonight.
I beg your pardon, sir. Do I know you?
Of course you do. Our mutual friend, Dr. Swansea, can't speak highly enough of you. My name is Usher. Usher Talltree.
You are the leader of the Brotherhood, are you not?
Primate of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole, to be precise. I'm really glad we met tonight. I love it when the cards tell me a truth.
The cards told you to expect me.
Yes, they can tell me everything. They told me that you have not taken another life since your poor sister died.
That's intriguing. He seems to know that many Londoners have recently been murdered. Yes, I mean, obviously. Tell me about the neighborhood.
What can you tell me about the neighborhood?
I really don't know. I don't often go outside. And when I do, it's usually to quite distant destinations.
So you see nothing in the stars for me? You're a poor fortune teller, then?
Oh, I can tell you many things. But they will only concern you, not the city. For example, I know that you offered your sister the final rest she asked for.
He knows a lot.
Do the cards speak of my Mary?
No. It's the burning aura of guilt that precedes you everywhere you go.
Read my fortune, then.
You have been chosen, Johnathan. I see on you the mark of a strong being, so powerful it needn't even reveal its strength.
That's really the hallmark of true power. You don't need to flaunt it.
Tell me about yourself. What do you do here, besides turning cards in the middle of the night?
I'm for most a charlatan. For a few, I'm a vampire. And for you, I'm the Primate of St. Paul's Stole.
Interesting.
Some believe you to be a vampire. Who?
The Guard of Priwen, who else? For a time, they sent spies to observe my activities, and they even broke into my home to gather proof.
Did they steal anything from you?
A personal notebook they quickly took to their headquarters. All they had to do is to look at me. I'm aging. What better and definite proof that I'm not an immortal?
Do you want your notebook back?
If you ever find it, I'd be glad to have it back, of course. I do ask one thing, though. Do not read it, Johnathan. Some secrets are not meant to be revealed, even to immortals.
For how long have you been a primate?
It was 15 years last year.
What do you make of Dr. Swansea?
Edgar is a brilliant and dedicated man. A man of his time. Sometimes a little muddled, but always looking for new paths and new concepts.
Pretty much my assessment of him as well.
Can you read the cards for me?
Are you sure you want to know what they will reveal?
Yes, I am.
It will cost you 150 shillings.
Here is the money.
The snake. A bitter woman, smiling as she pours poison in your cup. A shaming betrayal. Hate.
Venus is deliberately poisoned. Oh my god. Hang on, can I just pay for hints? Is this what this is? How much money do I have?
Goodbye, sir. Until we meet again.
I rarely wander, yet it amuses me to converse with your kind. A Red River.
How much money do I have? Where? 350. So I can do 2 more.
Song in the Dark. Good evening, Johnathan Reid. Can I help you in any way?
This is fantastic. Read the cards.
Can you read the cards for me?
Put the money on the table then, Johnathan, and open your mind.
This is awesome.
Here is the money.
Love, pure and unseen, untold. The two hearts love each other without knowing it, without daring to admit it.
Interesting. That didn't give me anything new, unfortunately. I'm gonna do it again.
Can you read the cards for me?
Put the money on the table then, Johnathan, and open your mind.
Here is the money.
Love, pure and unseen.
Okay. I feel cheated out of that last 150. Personal questions. About the Brotherhood.
May I ask you about the Brotherhood?
Of course, but I must warn you that there are some subjects we consider taboo, in spite of our fondness and acceptance of your kind.
Interesting.
I know there is no love lost between the Guard of Priwen and the Brotherhood. What caused this rift?
It was 1801. The Brotherhood was stronger then, a strength that made them hungry for ever greater power. An argument divided them, and the wound never healed.
What was the nature of the disagreement?
The problem was that both sides considered themselves the legitimate heirs of the original Brotherhood. We divide up the books, the relics, not always fairly or with consideration.
Interesting.
Who founded the Brotherhood?
That's precisely the kind of question I cannot answer. It is delicate, and may reveal some of our secret traditions.
So you're not just a club of academics and scholars?
Once upon a time, very long ago, the Brotherhood did more than simply study the vampires. They took actions to eliminate the more ferocious and corrupted.
Makes sense. That was essentially what the Guard of Priwen was, and then they split off. It's not at all surprising. How do you know about the lives I took?
How do you measure the amount of blood on my hands?
I told you. The cards always tell the truth. Well, most of the time.
Is it possible to tell me my future?
A vampire's fate is much more delicate to read, Doctor. But I can try.
All right. Let me hear it.
You're on a path to redemption, Johnathan. But be careful. One single trip and you'll fall.
That doesn't sound promising.
Take this, young Ekon, as a personal reward for your strong will. Keep following the right path and you'll reach safety.
Old blood. Interesting. How did you learn about Mary?
How did you learn about Mary? And spare me the hocus-pocus parlor tricks. The truth, now!
Swansea told me. Don't look at me like that. His task is to observe and gather information about vampires. He had to tell me about Mary.
She could have survived as a vampire. If only she had given me a chance to explain. If only I could have found the words.
Not all vampires accept their new condition. Since suicide is impossible, you have to find a way to get someone else to relieve the pain.
I could have saved her.
No, Johnathan.
Interesting.
How do you measure the amount of blood on my hands?
I told you.
Is it... All right.
You're on a path to...
Interesting. How about Aloysius?
Is there anything you could tell me about Aloysius Dawson?
Aloysius Dawson. Yes, of course. We met on several occasions. With time, he got deeper and deeper into the occult.
He's not the only one. It's been quite the fashion for several decades. The Golden Dawn, for instance, is just one example.
True. Aloysius was a member of the Golden Dawn until 1900. Then his thirst for dark knowledge grew. I'm talking forbidden texts, readings which blackened his heart.
Interesting. Aloysius was a member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn until 1900. I mean, cult, essentially. Cult of the occult. What's interesting, more interesting about that is the fact that he left because they weren't extreme enough, which is kind of insane. Interesting.
Goodbye, sir. Until we meet again.
I rarely wonder. Perhaps London will survive the epidemic. But I see terrible
Very, very interesting.
waiting in the
I'm going to keep going. As I said, this is going to be a long episode. I'm going to go for about an hour. Interesting. These things are depressing. That was the sound I was hearing before. There's 4 tiles that go down. What does that mean? I'll be honest, I'm really tempted to Google what these pads are. Maybe it'll come up in the story later. Alright, I'm gonna go to Aloysius' mansion now.
Dawson's mansion. Here I am at last. But the question remains, am I ready to make a dying man my progeny?
It's a hell of a mansion. I give him that much. Also, I'm walking around looking for things to loot, is what I'm doing right now. He's rich, he doesn't care if he misses a few shillings. Interesting. Would have assumed he's upstairs, but maybe he's not. Newspaper. Execution of John Francis Sparrow. John Francis Sparrow, 21, has been hanged this morning in a prison of Pentonville. Mr. Sparrow was sentenced to death after being found guilty of the murder of his sister Alexandra Sparrow. Until the end, the man claimed he was innocent. No formal proof of his presence at the crime scene was ever brought to the court, but he has been sentenced to death and executed anyway. Scotland Yard refused to reopen the case, and despite the many holes in the chains of events, which ended with the death of Miss Sparrow, Charles Albright, who conducted the inquiry for Scotland Yard, refused to answer any of our questions. But 3 weeks ago, he was demoted without any official explanation. What a strange way to award an efficient inquiry.
Reduced in rank for falsely accusing a man of murder.
Charles has been reduced in rank for having sent an innocent man to the gallows.
I wonder what Inspector Albright thinks about his punishment.
Interesting. Very interesting. Again, this is going to be a long episode. I'm going to walk around looting everything I can. Because I'm interested in seeing if there's anything specifically useful that I can find in this place. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like it's just generic junk for the most part. Here's a safe. Hello, Aloysius. So this was the door we could have come in originally. be particularly interesting is if he's already dead, which is a possibility, but I don't think so because I could see him properly. He has multiple safes around his house. Interesting. Well, now that I've snooped around your entire house, let's have a chat, shall we, Aloysius?
Finally you're here, Dr. Reid. What took you so long?
I had to pass several of your barricades and outposts to access your mansion, sir.
Death, pestilence surround us, and time is against me.
I see you've gathered some of the most expensive, albeit experimental, blood transfusion equipment available. All this could be so useful in a hospital.
Yes, yes. Since Lord Redgrave sent me a doctor to perform my conversion, I thought you might find some of these devices useful.
Most thoughtful. But tonight I'm not here as a physician.
But I feel reassured that a specialist such as yourself would help me to escape the Reaper.
Very well. But before I proceed, I have a few questions for you.
If you must, but be quick, for I don't have much time left in this life.
First of all, I need to be sure that you know exactly what is going to happen to you, sir.
I can assure you I'm as informed as any man can be. I have planned for this moment, Dr. Reid. Planned very carefully.
Sir, I'm going to end your life. Do you not wish to discuss the procedure for even a minute?
I don't have a minute to indulge in idle chatter. I can't feel my legs. And the cold, so cold.
I will become your maker. Do you understand what that means?
Well, I certainly won't consider you my liege, or some such drivel. You can be assured of that.
You'll need to feed on warm blood. Blood from mortals. How do you feel about that?
I'm rich, Dr. Reid, and powerful. I'm sure I'll be able to acquire all the blood I need without ever having to sully my own hands.
What do you know about the Guard of Priwen?
What I do know is that I'll crush anyone or anything that would dare to oppose me.
Let's move on then.
Please, I'm cold and tired. I feel my life waning with every moment.
But first, before you embrace immortality, what would you do with such a gift?
That's a rather impertinent question, Dr. Reid, and I will do as I please.
Answer me all the same. What will your first action be as an immortal?
To save London. I will finance the most efficient quarantine ever seen. I will build a wall that will separate the sick boroughs from the healthy ones.
Who gave you the right to decide the fate of thousands of people?
My money. My money and my pending immortality gives me the needed authority, Doctor. I'm a businessman. I'm used to tough decisions.
You really plan to build a quarantine wall across London?
Yes, it will be tall and strong, separating the wheat from the chaff.
By doing so, you will also create two separate prisons.
Come, sir. An eminent doctor like yourself knows that such radical measures have proved efficient in the past.
I mean, he's correct.
Let me guess. You mean to isolate the rich from the poor?
This is a desperate measure for desperate times. England must prevail, Doctor, no matter the cost.
Quarantine is not a bad idea, medically speaking. But I'm convinced this epidemic will not be contained by mere walls.
As long as the right people are on the right side of the wall, that's all that matters.
But you can't guarantee infection will not spread. Just one contagious carrier would be enough to create an apocalypse.
The apocalypse is already knocking at the gate. We must be strong now.
What if a new outbreak happens inside your walls? You'll have created a giant trap.
That won't happen. As long as we dispose of anyone that is contaminated, as soon as they are spotted.
I've heard enough. It's time to proceed.
At last. All right, do what you have to do. If it hurts, so be it. I've been preparing such a long time for this.
Listen to me, Aloysius Dawson. You will forget your fear of dying, for it has poisoned your mind and made you bitter and ruthless since the death of your twin brother.
You don't understand. Death is oblivion, the eternal void. I know there's nothing there. I saw it in Robert's empty eyes. I saw myself in that coffin.
Death is painful for those who remain, not for those who have passed. All that occult gibberish you filled your head with has made you forget this simple truth.
No! Death will not claim me. I have the power and the money. I've acquired the arcane knowledge needed. I believe there is magic, there are dark forces. You will provide me my extinction.
Your ignorance makes you a fool. You have no idea. Look at me. Hunted like a beast, my family lost, cursed. I have not escaped death, I have become it.
No, there must be a way. I don't want to go like my brother did. I have money, lots of money.
Money won't ease your mind. I know you used to be a good and generous man, so I offer you the gift of peace, Aloysius. The tranquility of a true death.
I accept your offer, and I understand. No more fear, I will die a man of dignity, and a man at peace.
Don't know if he's supposed to be dead at this moment or not, but at the very least I made him accept death. And apparently I'm the only one who has the kind of power to be able to actually turn him properly. So he doesn't really have a chance. Well, hello.
Is it done, Dr. Reid? Is Aloysius Dawson reborn, as expected?
I'm afraid Mr. Dawson finally chose to embrace life and death as a mortal.
What do you mean?
He has overcome his fear of dying. I let him rest and wait for death to come.
What? This is unacceptable. Go back there and make him the powerful Ekon he's destined to be.
No, Lord Redgrave. As a doctor and as an immortal, I can't. If you wish to make him your progeny, then proceed on your own.
This is an outrage beyond words. This is betrayal, pure and simple. I should kill you on the spot. You swore on William Marshall's blood.
Well, get rid of me then.
From now on, you're an outcast. Vanished. You are forbidden to ever appear in front of us again. Ascalon will smite you on sight, and your heart will be thrown to the rats.
I'll leave you then. Have fun with your puppets and shadow plays, Lord Redgrave.
Yes, go, traitor, and take that awful creature, that counterfeit of a woman I saw waiting for you, and be gone!
Are they going to attack? Interesting. This is going to be the end of the episode. If you like the video, please leave a like. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. I'm going to continue playing, but that's going to be the end of the episode, because that's like a full hour that we've done. But this seems urgent, so next episode is going to be a thing. I'm going to speed up somewhat. I think. Alright. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.